I'll create a new file, new folder, sorry. So let's create a new folder, day 4, and I'll create a file, css.html. So let's start with putting the style sheet. Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Right now, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we will continue with what we finished yesterday. I created one file called css.html. We will be looking at the child combinator. So yesterday my definition was little bit not fully correct. So I will correct my definition today. That's why it was not working yesterday. So if I put div tag, that is I can say hash container, and inside container if I say it's a p tag, and if I give the color of yellow, then all will become yellow, or I will give orange, so all will become orange. So inside div tag, I said inside container all the p tags. So we have one p tag, two p tag, and three p tag. All three became color of orange. This is called uh, what is it called? We gave the name yesterday. It is called descendant combinator. Descendant combinator means it goes to all the way down. That means inside the container, wherever it finds the P, it will give the color of orange to that P. That is, it does not check if it is inside another div or it is in the same div. This is called descendant combinator. Descendant combinator means we don't put anything in between the two, just as a container and the P, and it will be applied to all the paragraph inside the container. So it will be applied to first para, second para, and third para. So it will not see whether it's a immediate child or it is child of child. So this is the parent. Container is a parent, and we have child 1 para, and we have another child called as P2, and we have third child of the div, and inside div we have a grandchild of the paragraph. So when I put space, it will be applied to all the children and all the grandchildren. That means it will be applied to paragraph here and it will be applied to paragraph here because we put the space here. But if I put the greater than sign here, then it will only be applied to the children. So this is the child, this is the child, and this is the grandchild. It will not be applied to the grandchild. But what if I put a new paragraph here, then this paragraph will also become a child because this is a one child, this is second child, this is third child, and this is fourth child. That's the reason para 4 also get the orange color. But paragraph 3 is the grandchildren. So this greater than sign will not be applied to the grandchildren. It will only be applied to the children. So What are the child? This is one child, this is two child, and this is third child, div tag. Since we haven't given color orange to div tag, that's the reason div tag orange color will not be applied to this div tag. And this is the fourth child, paragraph 4, and it is also getting orange color. So greater than sign means it will be applied to all the children. So this is first children, second children, and third children. So if I change this to, let's say if I create one span, and inside span I will create the p tag, para 5. So para 5 will not be getting the orange color because it becomes the grandchild. But I can say to the span tag. So if all the span tag will get the color of, let's say, blue. So greater than sign always means the children. Just remember that the children, no grandchildren or grandchildren. It will be applied to only children. And if I remove the greater than sign, then it will be applied to all the children, all the grandchildren, everything inside container. If we have p tag, it will be applied to all the p tags. Is it clear?
Yes.
The difference between space and the greater than sign. So space is called the descendant combinator, and greater than sign is called the child combinator. So if it's a greater than sign, it will be applied to all the child. Okay, let's move to the another topic. This is called attribute combinator. Let's do one attribute combinator or attribute selector. So I will save this file to css2.html, and I will create one. This is called attribute selector. I will delete all the HTML I have. I will create the input tag of type text. I created the input tag of type text. So now, if I want to apply some style sheet to this input type, then I can say input. Here in the CSS, I will say input and with type equal to text. If it is type equal to text, then I will say put the background color of hash, let's say 444 or FE2, for example. Just I will choose any color, and I will say width of 200 pixels. So all the input tags with type equal to text will get this CSS. What CSS it will get? Background color and the width. So we can apply our logic to the input tag with the type equal to text. Let's choose another submit button. Type equal to submit. Since it does not have the type of text, therefore the code will not be applied to this submit button. But if I remove, okay, I can remove this text part. If I remove the text part, then the style sheet will be applied to both the input because both have type as an attribute. Since both have type as an attribute, so this background color and width will be applied to both of the input tags. But if I put the text, then it will be only applied to the text. I can put name also, hello. So here I can say name of hello. So whoever has name equal to hello will get this style sheet. So whatever attribute I have in this tag, will get this color or properties whichever I have defined. So This is called attribute selector. I can say type equal to, or I can say only type. So if there is a attribute called as type, then it will get the same color whatever we have find here. So this is called attribute selector. Put I will put the code inside the chat so that you can grab it. Okay, I will put this in the chat, and the first one also I will put it in the chat. Okay, let's move to JavaScript now. We'll do little bit CSS because we should have little bit hands-on on CSS. Though CSS is not very important for interview purpose, but we should have knowledge of CSS. We'll be doing a lot of CSS in future lesson, but that is only for knowledge point of view, not for the interview purpose. Interview purpose, you should know little bit of CSS, not very much. So let's do the JavaScript part, which is very important. So in the JavaScript, yesterday we saw the object and arrays. Let's go through that point again little bit, and then we'll see more about JavaScript. So yesterday I showed you how to create an array. So to create an array, I will say my array, and I will start with the rectangular bracket, and I can give any number of variables in it. So this is the main variable and any number of values in it. So I can say Jack, comma, Jill, comma, hello, comma, mango. So all this array has 4 elements and it starts with the 0th position. So this is in the 0th position, this is in the 1 position, this is in the 2 position, this is in the 3 position. So total count is 4, but it starts with the 0, so it will end till 3. So if I want to show Jill to the user, what I will say? I will say my array 1 because this Jill is at position number 1. If I want to show hello, I will say my array of 2. If I want to show Jack, I will say my array of 0. If I want to show mango, I will say my array of 3. Then I can show mango to the user. So this is how array is created. Let's see how object is created. I will say var object equal to curly bracket, and inside the curly bracket I can put a JSON format and I can define n number of key value pairs. So for example, I can say name Jack. I will say address 1230, and in the string, this is a string, I will say 1230 St. Thomas Aquino Road, for example, San Jose, CA. Now I will say phone number. So I can put 408 505 2726. So this way I can create n number of key value pairs. I can create the string, or I can create the number 1 or 2 or 12 or 13. I can create the decimal number, maybe price as 45.32. I can create another object, maybe object 2. So I can create n number of key value pair inside this object. And if I do console.log of object, I will be able to see all the key value pair in the console.log. So this is one way of creating the object. There is another way of creating object is this, which is like this. So to understand the another way, we should understand what are the functions. So let's study the functions little bit, and then we will be able to create the new object using the functions. So in JavaScript, if I want to create a function, I will start with the function and I will give some name. For example, my first function. And I start with round bracket, end with the round bracket, and I start with the curly bracket, end with the curly bracket. So this is called the function definition. So this is how function is created. Now what is the use of the function? Let's say in my website I have 10 lines of code. Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. For example, 5 lines of the code. I have a 5 lines of the code in my website. And if I want to repeat the same 5 lines at other part of the page, then again I have to write line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. And if I want to repeat these lines of the code again in my page, then again I have to type line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. So for example, if my website is having same lines of the code 100 times, so I have to copy paste all these lines 100 times, since I have to use this 5 lines of the code in my website 100 times. So I will be copy pasting all these 5 lines to 100 times. For example, again. And tomorrow my logic gets changed. I don't want these 5 lines. I want only 4 lines. Or I want another 6th line after line 5. So what will be the problem? I have to copy this line again at 100 places. And I may forget at some places. So to avoid this confusion, to avoid this, this changing, copy pasting of 100 times, we will be creating the function. Function means whatever lines of the code I have to use, I will put all these lines of the code here in the function. And now if I want to use this 5 lines of the code 100 times, what I will do? I will only use this function name with round bracket and I will paste it anywhere on the page. And if I want to do 100 times, I will paste 100 times. So whenever I am pasting this my function, whatever name I have given to this function, whenever I am pasting this function, all the 6 lines are called again. So this, if I call first time, these 6 lines will be called again. If I call second time, these 6 lines will be called again. So in this way, if I want to paste 100 times, I will use only the function name, not these 6 lines of the code. Now tomorrow, if my logic gets changed, instead of 6 lines, I need to put 10 lines. Line 7, line 8, line 9, line 10. So let's say tomorrow instead of 6 lines I want to put 10 lines. Now I will only change in my function quotation and it will be reflected at all the 100 places. So I don't have to go manually at 100 places and change all the lines. I will only change in my main function and everywhere it will be changed automatically. So this way we decrease our working or writing of the code in the page. So if I have to write the 10 lines of the code 100 times, it will be too much, and editing or copy pasting will be too much. Tomorrow if I forget somewhere, then the program will not work as I expected. So that's the reason I create the function, and I will be changing the lines of the code only in the function, and then it will be reflected in all the places where I have called the function. That is the main usage of the function. Now let's try to see how to use this function. Let's say in my function, I will put console.log hello world. Now, if I call my function, what will be, you will see. If I call my function, and I will check this in the browser, and I'll go to the console.log. I will open the console. I will be able to see hello world. Now, if I want to use it 100 times or 5 times now, I will copy paste this only the function name. I will not put this console.log again and again. I will only call the function name and I will see what happens in the console.log. So it is appearing 5 times. So this way, if I want to change this hello world to hello world 2, so then I will not go and edit 5 times. I will only edit 1 time and it will be reflected in all the 5 places. now it will be displaying hello world 2 every time. So that is the main function. That is, if you want to repeat something, don't repeat it, create a function and put the code inside that function. So this is the one of the main use of the functions. Now, let's say if I want to, so there are two ways of using the function. One, I am putting console.log in this function. But what if tomorrow I want to, I want to take the output of function and I don't want to display it immediately. So for example, I want to display the hello world, but not immediately when this function is called. Right now, what's happening? Whenever I am refreshing the page, it is calling console.log hello world. But I don't want to put it in the console.log now. I just want to save it somewhere in the memory and I want to console.log after some time. So what we have to do? So if I want to save it in the memory and I have to use it after some time, then what I will do? I will just do return. And what I have to return? I have to return hello world 2. So whenever I have written the function, my function, and I say return hello world 2, so now if I call this function, see nothing is displayed in the console.log. We are not using the console.log. We are just returning this value hello world 2. Now I have to put it somewhere in the memory or in the variable and I have to console.log this after some time, not immediately. So what I will do, I will create a variable called as variable x equal to my function. Now what will be the value of x after I call this statement? What will be the value of x? X is calling my function and my function is returning hello world 2. That means hello world 2 is saved in the x. Now I will do some statements. For example, I will write some console.log. Hey, I will do some, some statements which I don't want to. If you have a big lengthy program, there may be many lines of the code. So I have some lines of the code here. So after these two lines, I want to display this hello world, which I got from the function. So now what I will do, console.log of x. So initially I only saved the result of my function into the variable x. And now I'm not using x here in this line. I'm not using x in this line. Maybe I may not use this x for 10 lines or 100 lines. And after 100 lines, I want to display this x or whatever value I got from the function. And I will call the console.log of x. Now, what is the value of x? X is having the result of this my function. What is the result of this function? This is hello world 2, which I am returning from the function. So now if I refresh the page, so I will see hey, hey2 and hello world 2. Though I called one first, I am able to see hello in the last because I am not using .log for the result of my function return value. And so I am only saving that result into the variable x and I am calling this variable x in the console.log x after a couple of lines. So that means if I want to display immediately, I can directly call console.log here. But tomorrow I don't want to show the result immediately. I want to save the result in the memory. And what is the memory? It is variable x. So I am saving the result of this function in the memory and after a couple of lines or after 100 of lines, I am displaying this console.log of x. So function serves two purposes. Either I display it immediately or I return it and I show it to the user after some lines of the code. So it depends on me how I want it. I want to immediately give the result or I want to save it in some memory and display it after some time. So this is the function, little bit as high level view of the function. We will do a lot more on the functions, but for today's lecture, I only want to show you this part. Let's create some more function so that you understand the concept of function clearly. Let's say I create a function add, and I want to add two numbers. For example, return 2 plus 3. So whenever I call this add, so I will say var x equal to add. So what will be the value of x now?
5.
5. So it will be 5 because it adds the two number and return the 5 to the it returns the phi outside the function. So whenever we call this function, it will calculate the phi, and the result will return means it will calculate these two and it will return the phi, and phi will be stored in the variable x. So now if I do console.log of x, I will be able to see phi. So I will be able to see phi. So next time, let's say if I want to create a function of multiply, and here I say return 2 into 3. So what will be the value of x? Let's say var x equal to multiply. And if I do console.log of x, what will be the value?
6.
6. Now, here I am hard coding the value of 2 and 3. Let's say tomorrow I don't want to hard code the value of 2 and 3, but I want to user should pass the value. So user will say pass first value as 2 and pass second value as 3, or user will say pass first value as 5 and second value as 6. So I should be able to change these values. I should not use the hard code value of 2 and 3. So here I will pass the two values, for example x1 and x2. I am passing two values x1 and x2, and instead of 2 and 3 I will say x1 into x2. Now user has a choice to pass the value inside this function. So user can say 3 comma 4. That means user wants to multiply 3 into 4. So if I run this page, I will be able to see 12 because user has passed 3 and 4. These values will come from the user. User will put in some form, or user will put it in the database or anywhere. So this value 3 and 4 will come from the user, and we have to multiply both the numbers and give the result to the user. So for example, I will pass here 65 into 78. So for us it is little time consuming to do this, but this will do quickly, the 5070. So we will create a form that put the first value, put the second value. User will put first value as 65, user will put second value as 78. When user will put different values, we will multiply by passing these two values into the function. This is called passing the values into the function, and these two values will go here and it will multiply and give me the result. And result will be stored in the variable x, which I displayed here in the console.log x. If you have done functions before, it will be easy for you to understand. But if you have not done, you just try to remember whatever I said, and in gradually you will learn how to do the functions, because everything is functions in future. In JavaScript, every time you have to create a function. If you see something, 4 common lines of the code, create a function. So a lot of functions we will be creating. So right now just remember few things of the function, and later on we will do more about the functions. So how to create object using functions, I will explain you tomorrow. Right now just try to master this function. Just try to read what is the function is, try to Google it sometime, or try to go to W3 schools and try to see what are the functions. Though we will be doing lot of functions in future, but for today's class I don't want to put too much stress on the function. Just remember that functions, we put some lines of the code inside the function which we want to repeat. So let's say I want to call this multiply function many times in a page. again. So instead of writing these lines of the code, I will put it in the function and I will call the function rather than calling the internal x into x, or I can call x into x, x into x, x into x. So calling x into x is not good, because tomorrow if I want to x into x into x, if I want to change something inside the function, I won't be able to change it easily. So it is better we should put it in the function and call the function multiple times. So something, if in a website you want to repeat something, so then you have to put all the lines of the code in the function and call the function rather than calling the 2, 3 repeating lines of the code. Is it clear? Okay. Even if it's not clear today, we will do lot of functions tomorrow, day after tomorrow. It will be cleared in couple of days. We have to do lot of functions in future, and then your concept will be cleared about the JavaScript and the functions. So let's move to now our MySQL and PHP part. Okay, let me log in through Windows machine. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm logging in another computer. It's taking little time. Okay, 1 second. It's updating. It's updating my computer. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, can I start the join dot again? I think some problem is there. I'm not able to. So I will log out and then I will. Okay, I'm not able to add it. One second. Okay, one second. Let me. Okay. Can you see the screen? Windows? Hello, can you hear my voice? Hello,
Hello? Hello?
hello,
Hello? Hello?
hello,
Can you hear me?
hello.
Hello?
Can you hear my voice?
No? Yeah.
Hello,
Yes. I can hear you.
hello.
Hello? Hello, I can hear you.
I cannot hear you. Wait, wait. Let me see why I cannot. But I cannot hear you. Okay, let me see. Okay, one second. Can Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I can hear you. Okay. Sorry. So much confusion. Okay. Uh, can you hold once? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, actually, I'm getting echo. Wait, couple of minutes. Okay, what I'll do? I'll log out and log in again. Is it okay?
Okay. Sure.
Okay.